Yes, I am.
You ready now?
Yes, sir.
Good evening, everyone. I would like to call the regular meeting for Wednesday, June 22nd to order. Would you all please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance, please? Join us. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Zuma, would you please conduct the roll?
Certainly. Mr. Castine.
Present.
Mr. Bizzaio.
Here.
Mr. Hall.
Here.
Mr. Henry.
Here.
Mr. Hughes.
Here.
Mr. Kretzer.
Here.
Mr. Perrier.
Here.
Mr. Potiker.
Here.
Mr. Timmons.
Here.
Ms. Waldron has asked to be excused this evening. You have a quorum, sir.
Thank you very much. All legislators have received a copy of the stenographer minutes of the June 8, 2022 regular session. If there are no additions, deletions, or corrections, I'll take a motion to accept. Motion by legislator Kretzer, second by legislator Bizzaio. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. At this time, we are pleased to see you all this evening. Thank you for coming. At this time, the county legislature will present the 2022 Off-Track Betting Scholarship Awards. Each year, the Off-Track Betting Committee awards 2 scholarships, one to a student attending SUNY Plattsburgh and one to a student attending Clinton Community College. The students selected must have a grade point average of at least 85%, have demonstrated leadership abilities, especially involved in community activities, and have taken part in a minimum of 2 extracurricular activities, with at least one being non-sports related. The county received many applications and is proud to present this evening Ivy Pepito of Seton Catholic and Jay Brulette of Plattsburgh High School with these awards. At this time, I'd like to invite Ivy and Legislator Hughes to the podium for the presentation.
During her high school career, Ivy was a member of the National Honor Society, president of the International Student Club. Ivy was also a member of the tennis team. Ivy graduated from Seton Catholic on Saturday, June 18th, and will be attending Clinton Community College in the fall. Ivy plans to pursue a career in nursing. Congratulations. Very sweet. And I did also get her a little Clinton Community Center a little bag, so that and Dr. Quall is waiting to meet her when she gets there. Congratulations.
Perfect. Congratulations.
Next, we have Legislator Timmons and Jade. Could you please step up to the podium as well?
During her high school career, Jade took a rigorous course load and maintained honor and high honor roll status. Jade also worked part-time and participated in the Skills USA program at CV Tech. Jade will graduate from Plattsburgh High School on Friday, June 24th, and will be attending SUNY Plattsburgh in the fall, majoring in psychology. Jade plans to pursue a career as a child trauma therapist and will be first-generation college student in her family. Congratulations, Jade, and we wish you the best for your future endeavors.
Step up, Legislator Tim. Get in front of the podium, guys.
In front of the podium?
Okay, 1, 2, 3. Perfect. Congratulations.
Now, the legislature has blocked out 5 minutes for each of you students for your acceptance speech.
He's kidding.
Thank you very much. Congratulations to everyone, especially to the students, to the award recipients, and to the families for being here. Thank you for coming. These are some of the high points that the legislature gets to participate in over the course of the year, and I can tell you we all look forward to it. At this time, I will recognize anybody in the audience who wish to share their thoughts and concerns with the legislature,
Chairman, let's.
I will let them go.
Okay,
I
thank you.
want to make sure nobody wants to speak first. So anybody who would like to speak will be limited, name and address, and you'll be limited to 5 minutes. The families you're certainly welcome to stay, but if you would like to leave, that's okay. We won't consider that any slight at all. Thank you all for coming.
Congratulations.
I want to thank the generosity for this young lady. It's going to mean a new life for her in Plattsburgh, New York. Maybe she'll be taking care of one of us soon.
And we need nurses, so I'm really happy she's going in nursing.
That's awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Yes, and you're free to go if you'd like to.
Thank you.
Okay, back to public speaking. How many do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5. All right. As I say, please step up to the podium. Whoever would like to go first, state your name and your address for the record. And as I say, the rules of order, you will each speaker will be limited to 5 minutes. Go ahead.
Okay, we're all timed out for less than 5 minutes each, so we won't need a bell. Hello, my name is Beth Ashebrainer. I live at 20 Lynn Street, Apartment B, Plattsburgh, New York. I thank you for being here this evening. I'm here tonight because of a duty passed down to me by my forefathers, and in particular my second great-grandfather, Lieutenant Thomas Crafts, who read the Declaration of Independence to the people of Boston in 1776. This evening, myself and a few We the People of Clinton County will be presenting information that directly impacts the people of New York State and Clinton County. Historically, the Battle of Plattsburgh was the turning point of the War of 1812. It is my hope that the people of Clinton County can once again take the lead in New York State to correct the disenfranchisements against we the people and uphold the New York State and U.S. constitutional laws. I am a volunteer with the New York Citizens Audit, NYCA, an organization exploring New York voter rolls in the 2020 election, using official, publicly available materials from New York State. As a volunteer, I lead the NYCA Clinton County team and am helping to disseminate the analysis of their findings. NYCA has uncovered and compiled evidence of over 1 million felonies affiliated with the New York State voter rolls in the 2020 election. The felonies and other crimes related to election integrity include identity theft, 10 voters here in our own county, and we know who they are. Excess registrations, individual and multiple voter IDs, major mismatches in vote totals between databases of the New York Secretary of State, the New York State Board of Election, and the New York State Precinct Report. Excess vote voids, registrations made outside the allowable time period, and voters with impossible ages. Our team will be presenting to the Clinton County Legislature a synopsis of the 81-page Clinton County petition tonight. This report contains a copy of the Clinton County petition for redress of grievances. This was presented to the New York State Attorney General and the New York State Board of Election on May 9, 2022. It contains a summary of registration and election irregularities along with the New York State statutes violated. Exhibits A through P have additional details and samples of the data collected. Notarized signature of Clinton County residents. Note that these and thousands of other unredacted signatures were presented to the New York State Attorney General. I will email to each of you tonight the Clinton County Legislator and the County Administrator to their official email a copy of the New York State Citizens Audit's Clinton County petition and a resolution to be placed on the July 13th legislative calendar. What New York Citizens Audit and we the people of Clinton County would like from the Clinton County Legislature today is that the legislative body uphold their fiduciary responsibility via your oath of office and investigate these election integrity issues. We request that the Clinton County Legislature communicate with the Clinton County Sheriff and the District Attorney to file a complaint to open investigations into these criminal matters. To learn more about the New York Citizens Audit and understand the data, you can go to auditny.com. And I will start the petition. Petition for redress of grievances submitted pursuant to Article 1, Section 1 of the New York State Constitution and the First Amendment of the United States Constitution for violations of New York State election law. I, the undersigned, do hereby state that I am a New York State citizen and that I voted in the New York State election in November 2020, and I remain an enrolled voter registered on the voter rolls of New York State. I do by here petition the following personnel for a written meaningful response to this petition. The Attorney General, Letitia James, the New York State Board of Election Commissioners, Peter Kaczynski, Co-Chair Douglas Kellner, and Co-Chair Andrew Spano, Commissioner, and Anthony Casale, Commissioner.
Thank you, ma'am.
I will give you the resolution and the
Okay, so
petition.
I hear you correctly, you're gonna email that to all of us?
I am going to email, and I'm also giving you the actual physical copy of resolution and petition.
Thank you.
Hello, my name's Ed Boise. I live at 32 Lower Drive, Morrisonville, New York. This petition is for a redress of violations of the following provisions of the New York State election law. The agencies and individuals mentioned previously are the authorities having jurisdiction for the following election law violations. 17-126, misconduct of election officers. 17-136, false returns, unlawful acts respecting returns. 17-152, conspiracy to promote or prevent election. 17-104, false registration. 17-132, illegal voting. 17-160, procuring fraudulent documents in order to vote. 17-170, destroying or delaying election returns. 17-150, duress of intimidation of voters. 17-168, crimes against the elected franchise not otherwise provided for. 17-124, failure to deliver official ballots. And 17-154, precarious political activities. The factual evidence in support of this petition for redress include the following. Facts contrary to election laws. 1, the official vote count for the 2020 general election certified by the Secretary of State, 8,690,614, does not match the number of voters who voted in New York State voter rolls, which is 8,418,179. Nor does it match the number of votes from the New York State precincts, 8,627,153, with a minimum discrepancy of 272,435 votes. These violations resulted in many races being certified where discrepancies exceeded the margin of victory, including the races of 92 New York State legislators, 7 Supreme Court justices, and 12 U.S. congressional representatives. The New York State Board of Elections in 2021, pursuant to a formal request, provided a copy of the voter rolls. Analysis by our team, led by a PhD, found 1.8+ million state registrants in 9 counties that are missing from the voter rolls maintained by the corresponding county board of elections. Voter rolls maintained by New York State Board of Elections shows votes cast in the 2020 election from the same 9 counties that are not recorded in the corresponding county voter rolls. Voter rolls maintained by the County Board of Elections in the same 9 counties, as mentioned above, show 283,049 votes cast in the 2020 general election that are not recorded in the voter rolls maintained by the state.
Thank you. Next.
Good evening, thank you. My name is James Van Etten. I live at 2768 Minor Farm Road in Altona. I'm here to continue where Ed left off. Item number 8, voter rolls maintained by New York State Board of Elections contain at least 1.4 million purged voters with no purge date, of which at least 31,180 voted in the 2020 New York State general election. Number 9, 6 New York State counties had in excess of 100% voter registration during the 2020 general election. and an additional 51 counties have over-registration in certain age categories, resulting in at least 625,359 excess registrations. Number 10, 27,638 voters registered after the deadline of October 9th, 2020, yet voted in the New York State 2020 general election. Number 11, there are at least 620,610 blanks added or subtracted after certification of the New York State 2020 general election. Number 12, New York State voter rolls contain at least 19,706 deceased voters, of which 1,284 voted in New York State 2020 general election, and 10,289 of which were born on January 1st, 1850. Number 13, New York State 2020 general election contained an excess of 88,241 irregular votes. 14, analysis of the voter turnout in the New York State 2020 general election used the Dr. Frank age turnout method, reveals a 6-factor polynomial constant can predict the voter turnout by age with an average of 99.3% degree of accuracy. This demonstrates that the turnout records are not organic. Number 15, the state and at least 14 counties have denied multiple FOIL requests for election records from the 2020 New York State general election. Number 16, the state and one or more counties have admitted to destroying various election records of the 2020 New York State general election in violation of the law. Number 17, according to a sworn statement, a box of official New York State 2020 general election ballots was found unsealed without chain of custody in an apartment building on or about November 8th, 2020. Number 18, 44 candidates for the New York State Legislature, the New York State City, and Westchester County, all representing the Democratic Party, were unopposed by the Republican Party. For New York State facts 1 through 18 aforementioned, I assert this fact alone and in combination with any of the other facts presented herein, proves beyond reasonable doubt the 2020 general election was defective and must be decertified. Thank you.
Thank you. Who's next?
Good afternoon. My name is Kimberly Boise. I reside 32 Laura Drive, Morrisville. I'll be talking about Clinton County facts contrary to election law. 1, Clinton County voter rolls maintained by the New York State Board of Elections demonstrate that 132 voter discrepancy exists between the Clinton County precinct vote tabulation count and the New York State Board of Elections. And 115 voter discrepancy exists between the Clinton County precinct vote tabulation count and the New York Secretary of State certified results. Additionally, a 17-vote discrepancy exists between the New York State Board of Elections and the Secretary of State regarding Clinton County. I assert this fact alone and or in combination with any of the other facts presented herein proves beyond a reasonable doubt that in the 2020 general election was defective and must be decertified in Clinton County. 2, Clinton County voter rolls maintained by the New York State Board of Elections demonstrate that there are 496 duplicate SBOEID numbers assigned, 14 of which voted. 3, Clinton County voter rolls maintained by the New York State Board of Elections demonstrate that there are 3 voters registered purged with no purge date. 4, county voter rolls maintained by the New York State Board of Elections demonstrate that 78% of the voting age population of Clinton County is registered to vote. The following age groups from 18 to 100 have in excess of 95% registration: 69, 78, and 84. The following age groups from 18 to 100 have in excess of 100% registration: 74, 103%, and 99, 107%. 5, Clinton County voter rolls maintained by the New York State Board of Elections demonstrate that 104 people voted without a residence address in their voter roll. 6, Clinton County voter rolls maintained by the New York State Board of Elections demonstrate that 75 people registered after the cutoff date and voted on election day. 7, Clinton County voter rolls maintained by the New York State Board of Elections demonstrate that at least one person voted who were purged before November 3rd, 2020. For Clinton County, Fact 2-7, petitioners claim this vote deprived petitioners of equal protections under the law. 8, Clinton County voter rolls maintained by the New York State Board of Elections demonstrate that 16 people voted from nursing homes, 27 people voted from schools, 54 people voted from a residence to petition for redress or grievances submitted pursuant to Article 1, Section 9 of the New York State Constitution and the First Amendment of the United States Constitution for violations of the New York State election law, small, to accommodate the number of voters, and 6 people voted from commercial addresses. 9, that the total number of irregular votes in Clinton County, as detailed above, is 432 votes. Thank you very much.
Good evening. I'm Kathleen Kasperzak, 22 Pristine Drive, Plattsburgh, New York. I'm going to follow where Tim left off. Analysis of the voter turnout in Clinton County using the method known as the Dr. Frank Age Turnout Method reveals a 6-factor polynomial constant which can predict the voter turnout by age with a 99.7% accuracy. Degree of accuracy. This demonstrates that the turnout records are not organic. I assert this fact alone and or in combination with any other facts presented herein proves beyond a reasonable doubt that the 2020 general election was defective and must be decertified in Clinton County. Those petition the Attorney General, the New York State Board of Health Election Commissioners, and the Secretary of State are hereby requested to provide a meaningful response by refuting each of the said facts or complying with the relief specified in paragraphs 1, 2, and 3 below. Number 1, decertify the New York State 2020 general election. Number 2, conduct a full forensic audit of the November 3rd, 2020 New York State general election for a complete investigation of the efforts made to subvert the will of the people. Number 3, enforce criminal and financial penalties for those officials involved. Should the recipients hereby petition not publicly respond to the petition within 30 days of service by granting the relief requested, such a violation of their constitutional duty would add credence to the belief held by the petitioner that a government that first violates the rule of law and then fails to honor its obligation to respond to a petition for redress of the violation is unrecognizable. That is, it is not government the people instituted. Consequently, petitioner questions why she should continue to fund a government that has stepped outside the boundaries drawn around its power by the terms of the state constitution and laws pursuant thereto. Upon failure to respond accordingly or provide the remedies requested within 30 days, the undersigned is faced with a government that is not duly elected. As a means of enforcement of our rights, New York State sovereign citizens reserve the right and are entitled to withhold remittance to New York State unless a redress of these grievances are performed by the authorities having jurisdiction. Thank you for your time.
Is there anyone else? All right. Thank you very much.
Here is the petition and the resolution to be placed on the calendar next session for July 13th. And I'll be back to talk about the identity theft of citizens in our county.
Okay, moving on. Thank you. We'll now go to committee reports. I'll call upon the chairperson of each committee in alphabetical order by committee, starting with Buildings and Grounds. Legislature.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, thank you. The Buildings and Grounds Committee met on Monday, June 13th. James Cleveland, the Superintendent of Buildings and Grounds, was present to discuss the resolution authorizing contract with Chimera Integrations, Inc. The committee also tours the Government Center complex as part of its due diligence for a potential brick project. Resolution number 409 has been placed on the agenda upon the recommendation of the committee. The next Buildings and Grounds Committee meeting is tentatively scheduled for Monday, July 11th at 4:30 p.m. End of report.
Thank you, sir. Children and Family Services, Legislator Potter.
Thank you, Chairman Henry. The Children and Family Services Committee has not met since the last regular session. The next Children and Family Services Committee meeting is tentatively scheduled for Tuesday, July 5th at 5:15 p.m. End of report.
Thank you. Economic Development, County Operations, I believe Mr. Zerlo has a report. I do know.
Look at that, right there. On behalf of Legislator Waldron, the Economic Development and County Operations Committee has not met since the last regular session. The next Economic Development and County Operations Committee is tentatively scheduled for Wednesday, July 13th at 4 p.m. End of report.
Finance, Legislator Tennis.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, the Finance Committee met on Wednesday, June 15th. Kimberly Davis, the County Treasurer via Zoom, and Rebecca Murphy, the Deputy County Treasurer, were present to discuss medical marijuana, the 2022 sales tax charts, the annual report, the results of the interim foreclosure auctions and resolutions transferring title of property in the town of Oakland, and accepting bids receiving a public auction and authorizing the issuance of deeds. Resolutions 410 and 411 have been placed on the agenda upon the recommendation of the committee, as well as Resolution 452 under Waiver Rule 13.2. The next Finance Committee meeting is tentatively scheduled for Wednesday, July 6th, at 5:15 p.m. End of report.
Human Services, Legislator Breyer.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The Human Services Committee has not met since the last regular session. The next Human Services Committee meeting is tentatively scheduled for Tuesday, July 5th at 4:15. End of report.
Thank you. Health, Legislator Hughes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Health Committee met on Wednesday, June 15th. Jeff Sisson, the Public Health Director, was present to discuss several resolutions, including the Health Department report of May 2022 and the Creating Healthy School Communities 2021 to 2022 report. Resolution 412 has been placed on the agenda upon recommendation of the committee. The committee was also polled on resolutions 413 through 415, which have been placed on the agenda upon recommendation of the committee. The next Health Committee meeting is tentatively scheduled for Wednesday, July 6th at 4:15 p.m. End of report.
Mr. Hughes, Chairman Hughes, is it, I believe it's your intention to ask for
An amendment
to one of the
to,
resolutions?
I believe it's 414. Yes. We're gonna amend that.
We're gonna seek an
We're gonna,
amendment.
yeah, we're gonna request.
Personnel, I'll take care of that. Personnel Committee met on Monday, June 6th. Kim Kinbaugh, the Personnel Director, was present to discuss several resolutions, including authorizing contract with 26 and Company and authorizing contract with Job Element. Resolutions 416 through 433 have been placed on the agenda upon the recommendation of that committee. The next Personnel Committee meeting is tentatively scheduled for Thursday, July 7th at 5 p.m. Plattsburgh International Airport, Legislator Hall.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Plattsburgh International Airport Committee met earlier today. Chris Craig, the airport director, was present to discuss several resolutions as well as tenant update. Resolutions 434 through 438 have been placed on the agenda upon the recommendation of the committee, as well as a resolution 451 under Waiver Rule 13.2. The next Plattsburgh International Airport Committee meeting is tentatively scheduled for Tuesday, July 12th at 4 p.m. End of report.
Thank you very much. Public Safety, Legislator Castine.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, the Public Safety Committee has not met since the last regular session. Resolution number 439 has been placed on the agenda upon the recommendation of the committee's recommendation. I did write this. I'm not really that redundant. The next Public Safety Committee meeting is tentatively scheduled for Thursday, July 7th at 4 p.m. End of report.
Thank you very much. And Transportation, Legislator Kretzker.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The Transportation Committee met on Monday, June 13th. Shannon Thayer, the senior planner, and Luke Cutter, the planning technician, were both present to discuss 2 resolutions and an update on the Clinton County Public Transit route changes and staffing issues. Carl Weiss, the highway superintendent, was also present to discuss several resolutions, including authorizing contract amendments with Joint Align Company and Upstone Materials Incorporated for asphalt, concrete materials, and delivery. Resolutions number 440 and 441, as well as number 443 through 445, have been placed on the agenda upon the recommendation of the committee. Resolution 442, authorizing contract extension with American Rock Salt Company, LLC, will be discussed at the next Transportation Committee meeting. The next Transportation Committee meeting is tentatively scheduled for Monday, July 11th at 5:15 p.m., and that's the end of the report.
Thank you. Liaison reports, Board of Health, Legislator Potter.
The Board of Health met on Monday, June 20th. The resolutions, there were 5 resolutions that were passed, 3 resolutions regarding stipulation agreements, one with Underhood Mobile Home Park, Collins Mobile Home Park, and Plattsburgh City Water District. Also, a Public Health Emergency Preparedness and Response Grant application was an acceptance, and the 5th one was a New York State DEC Municipal Food Scrap Recycling Grant application. Discussions were completed on COVID-19 and the monkeypox response update. And then a Director of Public Health Orientation, Public Report Evaluation was completed, as well as other reports. Thank
Thank
you.
you. Chamber of Commerce, Legislator Potter.
No report.
Clinton Community College, Legislator Bazan.
Yes, Chairman, Mr. Chairman. The Clinton Community College has extended to the legislature a Legislative Appreciation Day. It will be held on July 13th, 2022, starting at 11 a.m. Brunch will be served in the atrium, and they would like to have every legislator attend.
So we are, I think, compiling dual lists. So I think you might have received an invitation from the college, but just to be safe, we'll, if you want to call our office, we'll certainly convey RSVPs to the community college. Mr. Hall, we've got it on the list.
Yeah, I think we'd be safe to allow the legislative office to make the connection with Tampa.
Community
And
Service
the
Board.
report.
Oh, excuse me.
And a report.
Community Service Board, Legislator Castine.
No report, sir.
Cooperative Extension, Legislator Timmons.
Yes, the new ED, Linda Gilliland, is doing a great job. We just had a meeting last night. A lot of the programs have started back up in person, and it feels good to see all that back in action. She seems to be doing a really good job of getting a handle and learning things. She has even taken a few programs at the college, Cornell, to get her up to speed as being an ED. I believe everything with the fair, as far as her thought was, it was taken care of and all good to go. That's all I have.
All right. Intercounty was canceled,
So just to bring everybody up to speed, your colleague drove to Intercounty today and arrived at Intercounty for tomorrow morning's early meeting, and was subsequently, the office was called canceling the Intercounty meeting. So there will be no report when she returns from Intercounty. Don't even ask.
how's your trip? LC&LG Regional Planning Board, Legislator Hughes Kretzer.
Let's see, there's a meeting scheduled for July 12th in person in Westport, so we'll have a report after that.
Okay. Soil and Water, Legislator Perrier Timmons.
Yes, the tire recycling in Plattsburgh actually was full. Even the night of the meeting, it was already a full trailer. So I did talk to the press. They did call me the next day. I said to call Pete. I did inform her that it was full, but there will be another one in Jay-Z coming up, and that they do need to pre-register to bring tires to the Soil and Water office. But I got a feeling that we're probably gonna have another full trailer there, which is great about getting tires off the side of the road and onto streams and brooks. The technician and Pete Hager as well, was actually in an accident with the new pickup truck. They were going to pull into a farm with the no-till drill, I believe it was, that they were towing. And a truck with a trailer tried to pass them on the left while they were turning left. And needless to say, the 2-week-old truck has got some significant damage to it right now. We pulled the old truck out of the auction that we're gonna get rid of the truck because of the new one. We were able to pull it out so we still have the truck to use for now until the new one hopefully can be repaired. So, but no one was hurt in it, but it was quite an accident when the trailer hit the front of the truck, and I guess it literally flipped the flatbed trailer over. So, yeah. So, but everybody's good. So that's all. That's the important part.
And it took them a year to get that truck.
Yeah.
It was on the road for what, a month?
At the most. At the most.
Workforce Development Board, Legislator Cresser, your report. Staff member reports. Ms. Keller.
Well, I would like to thank the Airport Committee for establishing the flights to Philadelphia. In 1 month from today, I'll be flying to Philadelphia for my 40th high school reunion. End of report.
That's why we did it, Jackie.
I appreciate that.
Mr. Zerlo.
First off, as a member of the IDA, I was asked to thank this body for their support of the Champlain Hudson Power project, the Chippy project, which has closed, waiting, things are in escrow, but and the president of the IDA, Mr. Trahan, asked me to thank you for this body's support in that transaction. And secondly, I would request an executive session this evening to discuss a matter regarding the sale and lease of real property.
Okay. Resolutions. Excuse me. Before voting on the resolutions, I'd like to note that the majority of the resolutions have been thoroughly discussed by the appropriate committees, and the legislature is taking action tonight based largely on the recommendations of those committees. Mr. Zerlo, would you read the resolutions to be acted upon, please?
Certainly. Resolution 409, authorizing contract with Camara Integrations Incorporated, Village and Ground.
Motion, Legislator Desile. Second, Legislator Timmons. Discussion. Roll call.
Mr. Perrier?
Yes.
Mr. Hall?
Yes.
Resolution 410, transferring title of property in the town of Ellenburg, Treasurer's Office.
Motion, Legislator Timmons. Second, Legislator Castine. Discussion. Roll call.
Mr. Perrier?
Yes.
Mr. Hall?
Yes.
Resolution 411, accepting bids received at public auction and authorizing the issuance of deeds, Treasurer's Office.
Motion, Legislator Timmons. Second, Legislator Hall. Discussion. Roll call.
Mr. Perrier?
Yes.
Mr. Hall?
Yes.
Resolution 412, authorizing emergency preparedness grant application and acceptance, Health Department.
Motion, Legislator Hughes. Second, Legislator Desile. Discussion. Roll call.
Mr. Perrier?
Yes.
Mr. Hall?
Yes.
Resolution number 413, awarding requests for proposals for solar digesters, Health Department.
Motion, Legislator Hughes. Second, Legislator Castine. Discussion. Roll call.
Mr. Perrier?
Yes.
Mr. Hall?
Yes.
Carried.
Resolution number 414, awarding requests for proposals for preschool special education transportation services, Health Department.
Motion, Legislator Hughes. Second, Legislator Desile. Discussion. Yes, sir. Legislator Hughes.
I'd like to make an amendment to this resolution. I would like to propose a 3-year agreement with this company for the busing. And I apologize for the late, we just got the numbers back this afternoon. I mean, I wish I could have got it out before. I spoke with, I pulled my committee over here, and essentially what it comes down to is an average price of the same price as the 1 year for the next 3 years. It does escalate in price.
So same rate for 3 years.
Well, it's not the same rate. No, it's
Different rates
escalating
for 3
price.
years. Average rate is the same
Oh, I got it.
as it is for the current resolution.
Right, essentially it is. I mean, we've been battling with these, and Krista Vancourt does a great job in the health department dealing with them. She got us 5 years, 2 years. I mean, on an average cost, Mike, I think this was our I mean, when it came down.
The original proposal from this company was a 5-year agreement. The average price of the 5-year agreement exceeded the average price of this 3-year agreement. This is an expensive service, there's no two ways about it. We are very, very limited in our options. I called Krista, and because I'm not smart enough to figure out if this was something she was in favor of. We did speak at length, and she indicated that it is very unlikely that the cost is going down next year. So had you picked a 1-year option, you probably would be paying higher rates in the out years anyway. So why not lock in at a 3-year price that averages out at the price that you are paying in this 1-year resolution? And she didn't want me to talk about this, but there certainly would be less of a burden on the department as well. Negotiating these prices each year and all the paperwork associated with that as well is extremely onerous. So the recommendation from the health department and as well as mine is a 3-year deal at the prices that I think Mr. Hughes is going to make a formal amendment with those prices.
There's no problem because we went out the bid and now we're
No, it's an RFP. It's an RFP.
Okay.
Request for proposals, they are negotiable rates under the RFP, terms and rates, yeah.
Every time we asked them for numbers, we pushed them as far and they pushed them as far as we can. I would like to see better numbers, but this was the best set of numbers that we got back. I mean,
So we have an amendment on the floor.
and they are tasked, the health department was tasked by myself to make sure, when this comes, we gotta look at alternatives, every other possible way we may be able to do this, and this is mandated, there's nothing, we have to provide this service. But I want them doing their due diligence also. Now we have a couple of years where maybe we can come up with an alternative like that.
So the rates associated with the 3-year contract, and this is what maybe you should make a formal amendment with those rates, Mr. Hughes.
The first year, the rate of the first year will be $438.12 per bus per day, assuming 9 buses. The cost estimated would be $741,000. The county cost of $366.8. Year 2 would be $458.26 per bus per day, assuming 9 buses. The cost estimated at $820,000. The county cost is estimated at $405,900. Year 3 is $477.67 per bus per day, assuming 9 buses. The cost estimated is $859,300. Our county cost is $425,350.
So I want to be clear. I believe those estimates are not accurate. The rates are accurate, but the estimates, our finance person in the health department was not available late this afternoon. I will ensure that they are accurate, but to give you a sense of where we are, the 1-year per bus per day rate was in the current resolution was $457.50. This goes down to $438.12. Next year, the following year is $458.26. The following year is $477.67. All, if you amortize those or average those out, it is $457 a day per bus per day for 3 years. So, but I just want those numbers that we got in that email, Mr. Hughes, I don't believe are fully accurate.
Okay.
Yeah, if I could point out, you said the first year cost would be $741. The original amendment here was a $457 per day cost, coming out to $741.
So you can see it
So
all.
obviously,
Right.
And that was put together in very short order by the person who normally does not do this. So I will ensure, but suffice to say, they will be accurate, and you will see, you can estimate the difference in the savings from the current resolution, at least in next year's.
Let me ask you the obvious question. Why don't we get it accurate and then bring it in here and we'll vote on it? Is this something that needs to be done?
July 1st.
July 1st contract, yes, good question. We normally would not want to, but literally the rates came back at 3:30 and we were jumping through hoops.
Mr. Hughes, is your committee all of them in favor of this?
Today, well, Ms. Waldron's not here today, but I
I'm in
spoke
favor.
with Mr. Bazzaio and Mr. Castro today.
We have worked this hard.
Any other questions, discussion on that? We have an amendment? Go ahead, Rob.
He was moving it, I'll second.
Second the amendment.
Okay. We have an amendment on the floor, as read by Legislator Hughes, to Resolution 414. I have a motion. I have a second. Second, a motion by Legislator Timmons, second by.
No, motion by Mr. Hughes.
Okay, motion by Legislator Hughes, second by Legislator Timmons. Thank you very much. Any discussion on the amendment? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Amendment carries.
Motion on the
Now,
amendment.
motion on Resolution 414 as amended. Motion by Legislator Hughes, second by Legislator Bazzaio. Discussion. Roll call.
Perrier?
Yes.
Mr. Hall?
Yes.
Carried as amended.
Thank you. Resolution 415, authorizing New York State Department of Environmental Conservation Municipal Food Scraps Recycling Grant Application, Health Department.
Motion, Legislator Hughes, second, Legislator Castine. Discussion. Roll call.
Perrier?
Yes.
Mr. Hall?
Yes.
Resolution 416, approving backfill of permanent full-time cook manager, Sheriff's Department.
Motion, Legislator Castine, second, Legislator Hall. Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Resolution 417, approving backfill of permanent full-time cook position, Sheriff's Department.
Motion, Legislator Castine, second, Legislator Kretzer. Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Resolution 418, approving backfill of a permanent part-time cook, Sheriff's Department.
Motion, Legislator Castine, second, Legislator Hall. Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Resolution number 419, approving backfill of permanent full-time deputy sheriff, Sheriff's Department.
Motion, Legislator Timmons, second, Legislator Kretzer. Motion, Legislator Timmons, second, Legislator Kretzer. Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Resolution 420, approving backfill of permanent part-time registered professional nurse, Sheriff's Department.
Motion, Legislator Kretzer, second, Legislator Castine. Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Resolution number 421, approving backfill of permanent part-time special patrol officer, Sheriff's Department.
Motion, Legislator Timmons, second, Legislator Castine. Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Resolution number 422, approving backfill of a permanent part-time station attendant, solid waste.
Motion, Legislator Castine, second, Legislator Hall. Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Resolution number 423, approving backfill of a permanent full-time recording clerk, county clerk's office.
Motion, Legislator Hall, second, Legislator Kretzer. Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Resolution number 424, approving backfill of a permanent full-time senior caseworker, social services.
Motion, Legislator Kretzer, second, Legislator Timmons. Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Resolution number 425, approving backfill of a permanent full-time caseworker, social services.
Motion, Legislator Hall, second, Legislator Castine. Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Resolution number 426, approving backfill of a permanent full-time caseworker position, social services.
Motion, Legislator Kretzer, second, Legislator Timmons. Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Resolution number 427, approving a reclassification of a permanent full-time public health nurse 2 position down to a permanent full-time public health nutritionist position with backfill health department.
Motion, Legislator Timmons, second, Legislator Castine. Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Resolution number 428, approving backfill of a permanent full-time senior accountant clerk position, health department.
Motion, Legislator Castine, second, Legislator Hall. Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Resolution 429, approving change in funding source for a permanent full-time senior clerk position, health department.
Motion, Legislator Kretzer, second, Legislator Timmons. Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Resolution number 430, approving replacement of a permanent part-time program assistant position with a permanent full-time senior typist position with backfill health department.
Motion, legislator Timmons, second, legislator Castine. Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Resolution number 431, approving reclassification of a vacant permanent full-time public health educator position down to a permanent full-time public health technician position with backfill health department.
Motion, legislator Kretzer, second, legislator Hall. Discussion. All in favor? Opposed? Carried.
Resolution number 432, authorizing contract with 26 and company personnel.
Motion, legislator Timmons, second, legislator Castine. Discussion. Roll call.
Mr. Perrier?
Yes.
Mr. Hall?
Yes.
Resolution number 433, authorizing contract with Job Elephant personnel.
Motion, legislator Hall, second, legislator Timmons. Discussion. Roll call.
Mr. Perrier?
Yes.
Mr. Hall?
Yes.
Resolution number 434, authorizing contract agreement for alternate essential air service with Corporate Flight Management Incorporated DBA Contour Airlines, Plattsburgh International.
Motion, legislator Hall, second, legislator Timmons. Discussion. Roll
So
call.
just to bring everybody, remind everybody, we already have a contract executed, a resolution passed to execute the contract with the federal government to receive the money that follows the contract. Just a reminder, it's a little different service. The airline is not, under this alternate AES, is not contracting directly with the federal government, they're contracting with us. So that's why we need this resolution.
Roll call.
Mr. Perrier?
Yes.
Mr. Hall?
Yes.
Carried.
Resolution 435, authorizing lease agreement with Corporate Flight Management Incorporated, DBA Contour Airlines, Plattsburgh International.
Motion, legislator Hall, second, legislator Perrier. Discussion. Roll call.
Mr. Perrier?
Yes.
Mr. Hall?
Yes.
Carried.
Resolution 436, authorizing contract with CNS Engineers Incorporated for the procurement of aqueous film forming foam testing equipment, Plattsburgh International.
Motion, legislator Hall, second, legislator Timmons. Discussion. Roll call.
Mr. Perrier?
Yes.
Mr. Hall?
Yes.
Carried.
Resolution 437, authorizing the installation of a new passenger boarding bridge Gate 2 design project grant application, Plattsburgh International.
Motion, legislator Hall, second, legislator Hughes. Discussion. Roll call.
Mr. Perrier?
Yes.
Mr. Hall?
Yes.
Carried.
Resolution 438, authorizing contract with Oil Tanner and Associates for independent fee estimate services for the installation of a new passenger boarding bridge Gate 2 design project, Plattsburgh International.
Motion, legislator Hall, second, legislator Timmons. Discussion. Roll call.
Mr. Perrier?
Yes.
Mr. Hall?
Yes.
Carried.
Resolution 439, authorizing the purchasing agent to solicit bids for a utility terrain vehicle, trailer, and tracks, Sheriff's Department.
Motion, legislator Castine, second, legislator Perrier. Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Resolution 440, authorizing Rural Transit Assistance Program Scholarship Grant Application and Acceptance, Clinton County Public Transit.
Motion, legislator Kretzer, second, legislator Bazaya. Discussion. Roll call.
Mr. Perrier?
Yes.
Mr. Hall?
Yes.
Carried.
Resolution 441, authorizing contracts with First Transit Incorporated, Transit Management of Quincy County Incorporated, Clinton County Public Transit.
Motion, legislator Kretzer, second, legislator Bazaya. Discussion. Roll call.
Perrier?
Yes.
Mr. Hall?
Yes.
Resolution 442 has been withdrawn this evening. When it does come before the Transportation Committee, it's a tad bit of good news, so that's a suspenseful book. Resolution 443, authorizing contract amendments with Joint Line Company and Upstone Materials Incorporated for asphalt, concrete materials and delivery, highway.
Motion, legislator Kretzer, second, legislator Hughes. Discussion. Roll call.
Mr. Perrier?
Yes.
Mr. Hall?
Yes.
Carried.
Resolution 444, rejecting bid received for deck repairs, Legato Road Bridge over the Saranac River, bridge identification number 3335780, and authorizing the purchasing agent to resolicit bids, highway.
Motion, legislator Kretzer. Second, legislator Potiker. Discussion. Roll call.
Mr. Perrier?
Yes.
Mr. Hall?
Yes.
Resolution 445, authorizing supplemental agreement with Barton and Judas DPC for concrete deck repairs for the Legato Road Bridge over the Saranac River, identification number 3335780, Highway Department.
Motion, legislator Kretzer. Second, legislator Pizzaio. Discussion. Roll call.
Mr. Perrier?
Yes.
Mr. Hall?
Yes.
Carried.
Resolution 446, authorizing the county treasurer to establish appropriation and corresponding revenue for the Excelis Blue Cross Blue Shield grant, District Attorney's Office Child Advocacy Center.
Motion, legislator Timmons. Second, legislator Castine. Discussion. Roll call.
Mr. Perrier?
Yes.
Mr. Hall?
Yes.
Carried.
Resolution 447, authorizing the county treasurer to establish appropriation for the District Attorney's Federal Justice Seizure Reserve account, District Attorney's Office.
Motion, legislator Timmons. Second, legislator Castine. Discussion. Roll call.
Mr. Perrier?
Yes.
Mr. Hall?
Yes.
Resolution 448, authorizing the county treasurer to establish appropriation and corresponding revenue for the Emergency Preparedness Grant, Health Department.
Motion, legislator Timmons. Second, legislator Hughes. Discussion. Roll call.
Mr. Perrier?
Yes.
Mr. Hall?
Yes.
Resolution 449, authorizing the county treasurer to increase appropriation and corresponding revenue for the Highway Department, Highway.
Motion, legislator Timmons. Second, legislator Kretzer. Discussion. Roll call.
Mr. Perrier?
Yes.
Mr. Hall?
Yes.
Carried.
Resolution 450, authorizing the county treasurer to establish appropriation and corresponding revenue for the Substance Abuse Prevention and Treatment Supplemental Funding, Mental Health and Addiction.
Motion, legislator Timmons. Second, legislator Hughes. Discussion. Roll call.
Mr. Perrier?
Yes.
Mr. Hall?
Yes.
Carried. I'd like to entertain a motion to waive Rule 13.2. Have a motion by legislator Potiker, second by legislator Kretzer. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Resolution 451, authorizing acquire aqueous film forming foam.
I knew I screwed it up. So good.
Testing system grant amendment, Plattsburgh International.
Now I don't feel so bad.
Motion, legislator Hall, second, legislator, who's on here for? Second, legislator Timmons. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
And resolution 452, authorizing write-off town of Beacontown, treasurer's office.
Motion, legislator Timmons, second, legislator Pizzaio. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Okay, there's nothing further coming before the legislature. I'd like to entertain a motion to go into executive session. Motion, legislator Hall, second, legislator Timmons. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
612.
We are in. Okay, thank you. We are back in regular session. Is there anything further to come before the legislature?
Motion to adjourn.
We have a motion to adjourn by legislator Perrier, second by
No,
legislator Hall.
I got nothing to bring
Oh, you got
up.
something you want to bring up? I'm sorry. I thought you
Well,
were-
well, gotta keep you another half hour or so.
Go ahead.
I got a text from Calvin this morning, and Homer Bushy told them that the FFA wouldn't be bringing their animals to the fair over what we got going on with the health department. So I called Karen Bombard, or Bombard, whatever her name is, and she says, that's, as far as it stands right now, if nothing changes, the FFA barn will be empty over this. So, and how it's gonna affect the open, the horses, the 4-H, I don't know, but the FFA barn, if nothing changes, it'll be empty.
What are you proposing to change, sir?
Well,
I don't know.
Aye. For anybody that isn't up to date on this, it's about the kids sleeping in the barn. The state of New York said no more beds in the barns, they cannot stay there all night. I went to the Wendell to go to the health department, and we had volunteer firemen that were willing to stay out there all night long for the length of the fair. State of New York said no, period, no. They said, if you wanna put out tents outside the barn, fine. You wanna bring a motorhome outside the barn, fine. The kids are not sleeping in the tents, or in the barns. They've been doing it for,
Forever.
yeah. All of a sudden, they said no, and you're not changing their mind. And Francis is 100% right. They said if the farmers have said, if it doesn't change, they were not going to be there. That's where we're at.
Wendell? You got anything to say on the subject there?
I just wanna make sure they're clear that they can sit in the barn all night. I mean, because I don't think that was said to them. I don't think they understood that. The only thing that they don't want to see is a bed in the barn. I mean, if somebody has a chair, they can sit up all night with their animal. There's nothing saying they can't stay in the barn. They just don't want sleeping in the barn. Sleeping is what's prohibited. They can stay in the barn all night. I mean, I just don't know if that message got across.
Is it fear of fire? Is that
It's
what it?
agriculture, it's an agriculture building, it's not residential. Agriculture as such, it's animals. The codes for that building are set for animals, not human, not for
Okay,
residents.
but, I mean, let's just assume it was fire, just that one issue, that's all. Why could we not mitigate, why could it not be mitigated down that we'd have 2 volunteer firemen
It was suggested.
there all night long to make sure that everything was fine?
It was suggested and they said no.
Yeah, but it needs cleanliness, I mean, you get into a lot of different things.
Did
But
they-
they just say that building can be, a residential portion, you would have to meet the residential code.
Did they used to use cots to set up cots?
They did bring in, that's where they get caught, that's where it
That
was
sort of
made.
seems like it's the major problem.
That was the
Because
major-
once you
that
have
was
a
the
cot,
problem.
that means you've now allowed people to sleep in the building.
Now it's residential.
And if somebody has an issue because of that, somebody has said it's okay to sleep in a building because there is an actual bed or cot in it. So it sort of sounds like if you don't have cots, you can do what you want. But I understand where they're getting at.
And I know they've been doing it for 1,000 years, and I get it, and I feel bad for them. But a lot of the rules have changed through time, and we have to adjust.
So it's a safety
I would
issue.
love to sit down with them, but they didn't want to come back to the table, right?
There's a lot of kids there. Is there room to pitch 50 tents, 50 small tents?
They were talking more about one big thing.
Yeah, we offered one big
Party,
thing,
or one big tent.
Now, Mr.
Not only
Bushy,
FFA, it's the open show, the horses, all.
That's not, I don't know if that's, the issue is.
Mr. Bushy was representing the Fair Board?
That one barn.
Mr. Bushy was representing.
Well, they all sleep in the barn.
He was concerned
The open show, they sleep out there too.
because of his history with the FFA.
Let
He
it
was
barn.
concerned about it.
Wow.
He was-
The horses, I
He's
see
on the
them
fair
sleeping in
board
empty
at the
stalls.
present time.
What's that called?
He's asking about Homer Bushy.
Well,
Homer
is
is on the fair board at
What
the
position
present
was that?
time.
Is a member of the Fair Board or where it was coming from?
We were trying to come up with a solution that everybody could live with. I've fallen asleep in front of my TV set, I've fallen asleep in church once or twice.
No.
I caught him last time.
So,
Wendell, correct me if I'm wrong. In that memo you sent me from, Ryan, didn't they say that the state fair is not an agricultural fair?
Yeah.
So they're exempt from all that.
What I read, it said the state fair would not be exempt. Am I wrong?
I thought it said it would not be exempt.
I thought it said it was exempt.
I thought it said it would not.
I read some
That's what
information.
it said.
I could be wrong.
Statement there saying
I
that
don't think it is.
it's
Does
not
Ryan
an
Day-
agricultural fair.
Yeah.
Does Ryan Davies have it in writing from the state?
Yes.
That people can sit in a chair all night long?
It's not against any building, it's not any.
even said if they
Not
fell
against
asleep
rules.
in the chair accidentally, it would be okay.
Right.
I
I mean, if they thought, it's like Calvin said, he's falling asleep in some of the best places.
Just bring in a 50 lazy
It
Uh,
boys.
just can't be set up to sleep.
Yeah, they just can't have it.
Provide it.
Right.
Any further on that? Any other
Is there
observations?
any way that we can propose paying the cost of 2 large tents, and
They're not gonna
you could go back and talk with those folks and see if that,
Well, I think primarily, whatever you guys say, obviously, but this is primarily an issue for the Fair Board and the Health Department.
Right.
I mean, that's what the Fair Board does.
Mhm.
It solves problems. Mr. Bushki, I believe, is a member of the Fair Board.
But Wanda Carroll's running the fair this year, and she's coming.
No.
She's new this year, yeah, and she doesn't want to get in trouble for this year either, right?
Anything further?
Motion to adjourn.
I have a motion to adjourn.
I'll talk about
Legislator Hall.
I'll talk about
I have a second from Legislator Perry. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried? We are adjourned. Thank you all very much. Excellent.